Jinwoo just faced off against Goto Ryuji, otherwise known as the strongest hunter in Japan. We've also entered Jeju Island, but a mysterious creature lies in wait, which puts our hunters' lives in jeopardy. Will they survive? We'll see. So the fight kicks off with Tanaka Kenzo swapping hands with Ma Dong-wook, and they seem to be pretty much equal for the most part. Hoshino then rushed towards Lim Tae-gyu, and since he's a ranger type, he isn't really good at close quarter combat, and it really shows. Though he was able to create some distance and fired off a few arrows. By the way, this played out in the exact same way in the manhwa, so not much is being changed or added here. They also seem to be destroying sections of the training facility, which Gogon himself points out was fortified by the greatest magic items out there, which is a bit crazy. We then skip over to Baekhyun-ho transforming into his semi-beast state and attacking Kumamoto. Now this is a bit different in the manhwa since Kumamoto is the one who attacked Baekhyun-ho and then ran away because he somehow got scared about attacking him. In this case, in the anime, he simply dodged him and then ran away, so this one is a tad bit different. We then see that Ma Dong-wook was defeated by Tanaka Kenzo, which is disappointing for Team Korea. I don't know which side you guys are on, but you know, it's pretty sad. By the way, the same thing happened to Lim Tae-gyu as well. He was also defeated off screen. With that said, there's one saving grace, that being Baekhyun-ho. He's still here and he's still in the fight and he's trying to finish off Kumamoto. But that's when Tanaka Kenzo and Hoshino intervenes. We then skip over to Hae-In pretty much bodying Kani, and she notes that she's unable to read her movements and likens it to dancing, which is why she has the nickname the Dancer, although it's not a name she particularly enjoys. But yeah, Kani gets clapped and Hae-In tries to rush over to help Yeon-ho, but that's when Kumamoto rushes in and tries to attack her. She then easily reacts to this and lands over 14 hits at the same time. His teammates then notes that once he's in this form, he's pretty much insane, so he then starts going at Hae-In, but she's able to block all of his hits, and this is a bit different in the manhwa since this entire scene did not happen. It was pretty much way more one-sided, and Hae-In was getting overpowered and had to be saved by Jinwoo. Now this happens here as well, but it doesn't seem to imply the same thing because to me it looked like she was going to react to his hit, but you know, I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now this causes some suspicion with Goto Ryuji because Jin is supposed to be a mage type and they aren't known for their speed and strength, so Goto wants to fight him to really test his theory. Now Jin of course accepts this, but under one condition, which is that Goto has to use his full power. But before the fight begins, we then skip over to Ju-hee, and she sees the announcement for the raid to Jeju Island and decides to step out of retirement to attend. So yeah, that's what that scene was. But yeah, we then skip back over to the training facility and we see that Hae-In is having some cold feet about this fight and she questions Yeon-ho about why he's allowing it to happen. And his response was that he wants to see it. You know, that was pretty much it. He just wants to see the fight. And we then skip to the fight itself, and Goto shows that he means business because he tries to off-guard Jinwoo by striking him when he wasn't ready. But of course, Jinwoo is insanely fast, so he dodged the attack at point-blank range. And he then went on to dominate the entire fight by dodging all of his attacks while smiling the entire time, which of course enraged Goto. This caused him to use his strongest attack, which Jinwoo just caught with one hand. And he purposefully didn't grab his wrist because that would have ended the fight. That's because he wanted to continue fighting for longer. They then charged up for one more go at it, but that's when everyone hopped in and restrained them. This reminded me of that scene from OG Naruto where I think it was Neji was going to attack Hinata, well pretty much murk her to be honest, and then like 5 senseis, 5 Jonin level ninjas just came out of nowhere and held on to him, which was just insane. But yeah, this fight ended and you know, they pretty much said their piece and everyone left. Now Jinwoo also notes that he plays shadows inside, well, their shadows, so he can pretty much track them and teleport to their location. He also tells Gon-hee something about the mission to Jeju Island, but that wasn't shown on screen, though it was later revealed that all he said was that he wasn't going on the mission. Now this was a bit different in the manhwa since he says this inside the facility and not outside, but of course, you know, that's not a major difference, but you know, a difference nonetheless. He also later explains why he doesn't want to go, which is that he wants to spend time with his mom. And this might seem a bit selfish, you know, this is solo leveling, but it's in the title. But you know, it might seem a bit selfish and he could have gone and then went back to spend time with his family. But at the same time, I think the real reason here is that he's the only one they have left. So if he goes to the island, then something happens to him, what will happen to them? So I think that's the reason why he didn't go. And he just assumed that, you know, they had so many S ranks, they should be fine. Now then briefly switch over to Jeju Island and witness the birth of a new ant type. This might of course come into play later on, but who knows, we'll see. Anyways, it is the day of the raid and everyone is lining up to defeat the ants. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. So you have people that are going to the island. You also have hunters coming out of retirement to defend the surrounding islands just in case some ants escape. So it's pretty much all hands on deck. Now, as for the plan on Jeju Island, it's pretty simple. So Team A, B, C, and D consists mainly of Japanese hunters, and their goal is pretty much to release a mass of energy which will then attract the ants guarding the Ant Queen towards them. This will then allow the main squad to enter the Queen's base with less resistance, and that plan seems to be working so far. Now, some of them did fly towards the team's helicopter, but that's when you got to see Choi, the ultimate fighter of Korea, in action. Now this was way different in the manga because bro had so much aura. Before he did the large blast you guys see in the anime, he did try to attack them beforehand using flame spheres, but it wasn't enough. He then descended from the helicopter by himself, and that's when we got these two amazing panels. That just shows how powerful this guy truly is, and sadly that part was cut from the anime, but you know, it is what it is, it's still great. Now then see the other squad such as Tanaka Kenzo and Kane taking on the ants by themselves and succeeding. We also have Kei here using his ice magic to contain a few of them. He also goes on to say that he wonders what would happen if he faces off against Choi and their fire and ice collide together, which Aizawa replied to by saying that it's gonna be cold then hot. And you know, he's kind of correct, but I think it's gonna create steam. I think that would be the more accurate answer, but you know, I could be wrong. I don't know why I would be wrong, but you know, maybe I am. You guys let me know in the comment section. But yeah, we then skip back to the main squad, and Choi is pretty much carrying this mission. So he uses his fire to create a mesh above the lair of the queen, which prevents the ants from getting back in. He also used his fire magic to find the deepest tunnel, which should lead them directly to the queen. I guess we'll find out on the next episode. We then skip over to Team Tanaka, who seem to be having a great time. He then tells Shimizu to heal him, and she replied that she will, but only under one condition. She says that it's something that she wants and it's not money this time. He then sees the ants flying towards them and tells her to stop fooling around. But that is when something snatches her head and leaves everyone in shock. The episode then ends with a mysterious entity lurking in the shadows, but I guess we'll find out on the next one. By the way, there was a lot cut from this episode. Aside from the fight scenes which I discussed before, there's also this portion where Jinwoo turns into Batman and goes hunting for villains. And maybe that isn't important to the overall story, so that's why they removed it. And there's also some conversation between the hunters heading towards the island, and also some fun interactions that aren't really important to the story, so that's likely why it was removed as well. But if you guys want to see the cut content from the episode, I might do a separate vid on that, so let me know if you guys are interested. But yeah, with that said, that's it for the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.